Almanzo ate the sweet, mellow baked beans. He ate the bit of salt pork that melted like cream in his mouth. He ate mealy boiled potatoes with brown ham gravy. He ate the ham. He bit deep into the velvety bread spread with sleek butter, and he ate the crisp golden crust. He demolished a tall heap of pale mashed turnips and a hill of stewed yellow pumpkin. Then he sighed and tucked his napkin deeper into the neckband of his red waist, and he ate plum preserves and strawberry jam and grape jelly and spiced watermelon rind pickles. He felt very comfortable inside. Slowly he ate a large piece of pumpkin pie. He heard Father say to Mr. Corse, "The Hardscrabble boys came to school today, Royal tells me." "Yes," Mr. Corse said. "I hear they're saying they'll throw you out." Mr. Corse said, "I guess they'll be trying it." Father blew on the tea in his saucer. He tasted it, then drained the saucer and poured a little more tea into it. "They've driven out 2 teachers," he said. "Last year they hurt Jonas Lane so bad he died a bit later." "I know," Mr. Corse said. "Jonas Lane and I went to school together. He was my friend." Father did not say any more. Okay, so that is the end of chapter 2. Okay, and what we're going to do is just discuss a few questions about this chapter. Okay, so first of all, in this chapter, we're going to talk about a quote, specifically one about Almanzo's father. Okay, this quote says, "Father was an important man. He had a good farm. He drove the best horses in that country. His word was as good as his bond, and every year he put money in the bank. When Father drove into Malone, all the townspeople spoke to him respectfully." Okay, so think about this quote. What do you think this quote tells us about Almanzo's father? Okay, think about that. Okay, obviously it tells us that he was a good man. Seems like his word was as good as his bond. Okay, so he always kept his word. Anything he said he was going to do, he did it. How does this quote show us that he was a good father to his children? Or just from this chapter, how can you tell he's a good father to his children? Okay, he obviously takes care of them. He tells Almanzo that he is good, a good milker. Okay, so he gives them praise. So those are some ways that we're able to see that Almanzo's father is good to his children. Okay, he treats them well. He makes sure he has everything they need. And he basically demands respect from everybody. Everybody respects him, including his children. Let's talk about another thing that happened in this book. So it mentions how Almanzo's father doesn't trust him around the colts. What does he fear will happen? And then how does Almanzo feel about this? Okay, so his father doesn't trust him around the colts because the colts, he fears that Almanzo might spoil them. Okay, and so then the colts may start acting, how they're not supposed to act. They may start to get a little violent. They might kick. They might hurt him. So that's why he's afraid and doesn't want Almanzo to deal with the colts, is because he's afraid of those things happening. How does Almanzo feel about this? Obviously, Almanzo feels like he definitely would not spoil the colts, and he feels like he would do a good job taking care of them. He wants to show his father that he would do a good job. Okay, last thing we want to talk about is another quote. In this chapter, it says, "The cold was cruel, the night was black and still, and the stars were tiny sparkles in the sky. Almanzo was glad to get into the big kitchen, warm with fire and candlelight. He was very hungry." Okay, so what does the author mean by saying the cold is cruel? Okay, so pretty much what the author is meaning is that the cold it's very, very cold out there. Okay, almost to the point where it's so cold that it just hurts. It's cruel. It's very cold, and almost too cold to be outside. Okay, so how does this help us understand how Almanzo's feeling at the moment? Okay, and that's showing us that Almanzo is he's ready to go inside, eat some food, get warm. He's ready to get out of that bitter cold. Okay, so now what you guys are going to do is answer a few questions in Bright Thinker, and make sure you've watched all of the videos, both of them, part 1 and part 2, okay, and then you'll answer those questions in Bright Thinker just like we did with chapter 1. Okay, so I will see you next time. Hopefully we're reading the next chapter in person. Bye.